Work smarter, not harder, as the girls do say.
Hey, and welcome to Girlbye. Today's podcast is going to be all of the hot topics that come for the month of April. Today, I'd like to welcome some amazing people that always like to kiki and always like to laugh. Cristian and Amil. Good. Hey, guys.
Hola, what's up?
So, to dive into this deep and really start talking about what has been the talks of the town on TikTok, Instagram, all the places, we have to start with this Taylor Swift, Beyoncé nonsense that's going on the internet.
Same,
And
Cristian.
in this
This is the first
conversation,
topic. Oh my goodness! I didn't know we were gonna
this
start
is
like
topic
this.
number one. This is the first topic because the other topics only get better from here.
Yeah.
So I want to know, what are your thoughts on albums, on pieces of work from these two ladies? Either of you can answer.
You can go first because I
I
have my
was just gonna
opinion.
say when you said this the first topic, in my head I'm thinking it's not gonna be long because one is given washed and the other one is given icon, and we already know which title belongs to who. So it's giving Taylor still making music for the Lululemon short Crocs and girls, and Beyonce has evolved as a woman, as an artist, as damn, I lost the word I was trying to think of. As a
grown woman.
right,
I think that was the key word
right.
right there.
At the end of the day, nobody's really. I feel like if you and then me and Christian had a conversation about this before. If you look up to Taylor Swift, what are you looking up to? I really don't feel like I hear anything about how involved Taylor Swift is, which is why, honestly, I'm so surprised that like a lot of do they, or do I just not know enough about Taylor Swift? Because I'm like, I feel like I've seen a fair amount of the gays, like, oh my God, Taylor. But what has she done? What impact does she have? What is it giving?
So to kind of add to this in a constructive way is I really believe that the delusional girlies like Taylor Swift, the ones that don't want to deal with problems going on in the world, problems they're impacting on a daily basis, the people that want to like live fantasy, the people that like live like if Disney is everywhere in the world and not just an amusement park.
Right.
Those girls love Taylor Swift. Those are the ones that are paying for these fantasies, paying to be somewhere else. They're not living in reality. So, when we listen to Taylor's version 45 now serving you music, this is wild.
I think it's definitely giving kids bop. It's definitely giving childish. I think the fact that she is 34 years old and I still feel like she's singing from the point of view of a 15-year-old girl is kind of wild to me from time to time. I just find it crazy that at this point, Taylor Swift is 34 years old, right? Her last two albums, actually her last three albums, really, actually her last four albums, during the height of COVID, she's pretending that she's a fairy tale princess in the cabins in the woods, living life, whatever. At the same time, Beyonce is dropping Lemonade, has three kids, talking about different culture. She's talking about different narratives about loving your skin, loving your blackness, talking about her relationship with her husband, her kids. Like, I feel like there's so many themes and so many things that Beyonce is talking about that transcends just her culture, but something that everyone around the world can relate to in some aspect. Where for Taylor Swift, I just don't see myself singing the one song about being like the anti-hero. Like, why am I the villain? And like, I don't know, like, I get people are saying like, oh, well, maybe it's just not for you. And that might be completely true. I don't think I can relate to Taylor Swift. I think her demographic of fans don't look like me. And I, like, that's not bad. Like, I just like, whatever. But I just feel that people are saying that Taylor Swift is on Michael Jackson's level, right? She's on Beyonce's level. She's on Tina Turner's level. I feel like when you start saying those type of things, that's when we're gonna have to start pulling out a notebook, start looking at the actual album discography, and really start analyzing this girl, right? Vocally, she can't compete with these girls. I saw the Eras Tour, the movie, because I was like, okay, I know I talk a lot of crap about Taylor Swift. I was like, let me not be a hater. Let me watch the Disney Plus version, whatever. I was bored. Like, no, not to be mean, but I was bored. Like, I was not gagged. The fashion was not giving. And my biggest issue with the tour was there was no gays on set. No gays around because background dancers were wearing the most generic costumes to be imagined. There was no heels. I don't understand why they let her go out on stage without a brush, without at least teasing her hair from time to time. Like, I know she's dancing, but you could have at least brushed your hair backstage when we were transitioning from the different eras. Like, I don't want to come for her, but like, y'all cannot tell me she's on Michael Jackson or Beyonce's level because when Beyonce dropped Renaissance, she literally came out with a different outfit every single night. Not just that, her own backup dancers came out with their own custom couture fits. So you cannot tell me that she's an icon when you can't even have your backup dancers looking nice. I'm like, let me stop talking because I have so
Baby
many
girl
interesting.
did her research. That's what it's giving. I honestly did not watch the Eras tour. I feel like, from what I've seen, it wasn't anything. She leaves nothing to the imagination. Like, what you see is what you get. And I feel like Manny said, she has a particular demographic of people that her music is for
hoes.
and that it relates to. And so I feel like the reason everybody's like, oh my God, Taylor Swift is so epic is because that's what your fairy tale is. That's who your star is. That's who your, like, oh my gosh, my saving grace, my knight in shining on my Taylor and shining armor. That's who you care about. So, like, for you, of course, it's going to give, like, oh my gosh, lights, glimmer. For everybody else, it's like, it's just mediocre. It's just mediocre. And so I felt like there was nothing I really needed to, like, go see that I wasn't already exposed to from Taylor Swift. I feel like you're not keeping me on my toes. And I get that it's not super constructive, but, like, I mean, how much do I need to delve into the artist who is Taylor Swift? Like, it's not
You
much
know,
to say.
I think part of the issue is growth. I think with Beyonce's albums, you know, I get it like back in the day, like Lemonade and Four and like some of her albums, I can understand where some people don't connect. Maybe you didn't go through that in life, so you don't know
Right.
how to feel that particular type of way. Right? I don't think every girl out there can connect with Lemonade as a whole piece of work. I understand that. My issue is this album that just came out, Cowboy Carter, is an American problem. Like, it is something that, as an American citizen, we are all going through these issues. America, the Renaissance said it first. America got a fucking problem. And they do, right? We all know this. We all know that
Mhm.
America got issues. America banning TikTok, America focused on shit that is not real is crazy. So the fact that her albums are talking about what's going on in the world reminds me of back in the day when people were making music about actual events happening in life. Where Taylor Swift is in a fucking cabin with her cat making fantasies
Some
while
people,
people are dying.
it's easy for some people to ignore the reality of what's going on in the world when they really are not impacted by it directly. And I made a comment before we got on here that, like, at the end of the day, it gives, well, I have the stardom, I have the fame, I have the money, I have the recognition. What is there for me to focus on besides that? And it's like, is it giving beacon of hope, or is it giving unaware, uninterested, and have no? Because, at some point, like, people had a whole lot of issue with, and I know this is like kind of unrelated, but let me cook. People had an issue with Kim Kardashian feeling like she wasn't famous, she didn't have anything to offer. But at some point, Kim Kardashian became a mother. At some point, Kim Kardashian decided, I want to go back to school. At some point, even though you can't maybe relate to the Kardashians or you don't care for them much, at least you can see, again, the growth. At least you can see, like, okay, I'm going to talk about stuff that's actually impacting certain communities. In some way, shape, or form, I'm going to make my name known other than just entertainment, other than just like the girl who's known for X, Y, and Z. With Taylor Swift, I feel like there's never been that breakthrough for her. So it's easy for people to be like, yeah, she might put on a good show. Yeah, she might have a lot of fans. Yeah, she might have, the riches, the fame, all this, that, and the third, but there's nothing that she's doing to impact people's lives in such an extreme way or in such a memorable way that it's like, ooh, I stand Taylor Swift. Like, I don't understand Taylor stands. And maybe, again, it's just not meant to be my audience, but I don't get it. I don't get it.
Thanks.
Another thing I want to bring up with the Taylor Swift conversation is that she's a queer icon. And I don't understand where this narrative has come about, saying that she's a gay icon, because unfortunately her fans, like, I don't need to say it out loud. I think we just know what the fans be giving sometimes, right? We know who they be voting for when the election season comes. And when I go to the club, right, I went to this one gay club in Charlotte, and everybody was dancing, it was a diverse crowd, but it was a majority like white people in the room, right? Taylor Swift was on the speakers. Nobody was dancing. Nobody was moving. No one was jiving. No one was really doing anything. Alien Superstar came on at the club, and everybody was on the floor, dancing. Britney Spears is on the speakers. Everybody dancing. Miss Ariana Rumpop on the like. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't see the hype. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not mad. I'm not saying she's a bad artist, that she doesn't make good songs, that her songwriting abilities is not good. She can definitely write pen on a paper. But like an icon, a legend status artist, I just don't see it. In 2024, I just do not see it right now.
You know what's crazy is she makes music that's really good to listen to when you're sweeping and mopping and cooking and cleaning and taking care of your children. Like, if you really think about it, the sadly enough, the Republican girlies are Taylor Swift fans, and we have to understand that that's the demographic that likes the music, and that's okay. That's what you like.
That is
You
perfectly
can be
fine.
what you want to be. You can, vote for who you want to vote for, but at the end of the day, nobody's listening to Taylor Swift at the club.
Just stop pretending that she's that girl, okay? Like,
Why she's
it's
not
like
letting
she's
up?
that
He's
girl.
doubling down.
But I'm like I don't. This is like I understand. I don't want to be controversial. Like, I just don't. I know how the internet is. I know the girls like to tussle online, but it's like I think about like Nicki Minaj. Cause me and Amil, we're bars. We love Nicki, but we can we can critique her. We like, okay, the bars are good, but she just can't dance. Like, she's not really a dancer.
And we know that about our
But she's
queen. She
still
cannot dance.
She
but
do
she
be getting
still
up
can
on that
rap.
good
Like, she
foot
still
though.
can, you know what I mean? Like Taylor should just stay in her lane, and y'all should stop pretending that she's like on Beyonce's level. Like, she's not. Stop comparing. And one more thing, they always keep trying to say, y'all keep trying to bring Beyonce's name in it. I swear, no Beyonce fan is worried about a Taylor Swift fan.
And I feel like she
None.
did that whole thing where she went to the concert and gave her flowers and everything to dead the rumors. But at the same time, Beyonce's a very calculated woman. It never gave that. If I come into your space, at the end of the day, it's Taylor and Beyonce, but everybody is clocking Miss Sasha Fierce. And so it's like one of those things where she was like, yeah, I got to shut it down because like I'm sick of hearing about it. But at the end of the day, like, we know what tea is.
It's
You
a
know what I mean?
one-sided beef at this point. It's a
Come
one-sided beef
on.
at this point.
Come on.
Like, come
It
on,
is a
y'all, like, wrap
one-sided
it
battle.
up. It's over.
So leading into this is a one-sided fight, and we know that artistically Beyonce is the better artist. And the better performer. She's the better entertainer. I don't care what anybody has
Period.
to say from that point moving forward.
Period.
She is the
Like, I
better
didn't think that was up
entertainer.
for debate.
Vocals, instruments, choreography, all
How
of it.
how are we feeling about this random ass beef from 150 years ago that she now wants to put out on her album between her and Kim K and this whole diss track.
Why? Like
about her career.
So random. That was so random.
He told me to look up the lyrics for it because I didn't even know she made a diss to Kim Kardashian. What was it about? What was said? What was tea?
It was something like, oh, you made me cry throughout all these years while you were coming for me. I was building an empire, as if Kim has not been building an empire on her own. Something about your child's gonna look up to me. Like it, and like the song is named, what is the song name? Thank You, Amy. But like the K and the AM are like capitalized and everything else is lowercase. So it's like Kim, like this is a shot at Kim. Clearly.
But here's the thing. I don't understand. This happened 10 years ago. You're bringing up beef from 10 years ago that now you want to talk about that it's been traumatizing you for this long. Girl, you should have got a therapist a long time ago.
She should have got a therapist for a lot more than this beef. Let's be real. You pull that guitar out every time a man breaks your heart.
On her Reputation album. That was 4 or 5 albums ago. Girl, you should have put it on there. Like, it's just random. It's so random.
You keep writing the same type of song.
A song where you take your empowerment back. Like,
it's always someone else's fault. That's
or an empowering song where you take your power back. I'm sick of hearing about every time she get her heart broken, she pick up a guitar, and every time she pick up a guitar, she strings along, no pun intended, a new man so she can get over the last one. And it's like, how many times are you going to do this? Because you can't be 40 years old still sad about the last dude. Like,
and for
wait, hold up. I do have to give her credit for one thing, because when she made that diss against Katy Perry, Bad Blood, that was a good song. But you're making a diss about Kim, and the song is just not good. I'm like it's just not a good diss to me.
There's a lot of stuff that's not a good look for T Swizzle. Y'all know about that?
But also, to bring in that comment, when you're dating a racist person, that should say everything.
Oh, because let's get into the only reason you have a song by Ice Spice. The only reason you have a song by Ice Spice is because of the controversy around the dude that you was dating when he made them comments about Ice Spice, and all of a sudden y'all got a trash ass song together called Karma. That has to be the most ironic thing I have ever heard. That song was garbage. And don't get me wrong, I love Ice down. But what she say, you know what? Stuff like that doesn't stay in my brain for long because I like to have wrinkles in my brain. I don't want my brain smoothed out. So, like, when I heard that song, like, I think it just was one of those automatic chops. Like, it's not giving what you wanted it to give at all. No, thank you.
It was not.
It just seems so fake to me. Like, them going to the Super Bowl with each other. I'm sorry, but I do not see T Swizzle singing Going to the Deli. You think of this shit, bitch? You're not even I cannot see Taylor Swift singing that in her
Girl,
house.
she don't even know what a bodega is. Stop lying. Get out my face. You don't know what a bodega is. You don't know what a chopped cheese is. You don't know what a baked naked cheese is. You don't know what none of that is. But you I think my bestie.
She's getting a ham and cheese on a roll with an orange drink and a side of a small bag of chips.
Girl, she's getting a kale salad, no dressing, a glass of water, cucumber water. Let me stop for the girls.
The girls are gonna come for you on that one.
They're gonna eat me alive. I'm ready, bitch. I clap back. I'm one of them bitches that shut up. Everybody be like, I don't know, you shouldn't say nothing. I'm gonna defend myself. Look.
This is why we should not start it off with this one, because if this is starting off like this, I don't even know what the other one's
going to be. If it's a fight they win, it's a fight they'll get.
Oh my goodness.
Because on the lines of talking about diss tracks, I would like to share probably my favorite diss track that has been on the internet so far.
I knew it was going to be his.
This was the most randomest beef I've ever play it. I need to know what's going on.
Okay, ready? I need y'all to really get into this gig because this is the funniest thing.
Let me make sure my volume is over there because y'all know I dissect, bitch. I like to hear sneaky, clever bars, so let's see what it's giving.
Chris Brown dissing Quavo. Why?
I was not ready for Chris Brown to drop some bars to make me fucking laugh.
Y'all know he wanted to be a rapper first.
Yes.
They were saying it's not Chris Brown, it's Breezy.
Young Breezy, I can't.
They said it's not Chris Brown, it's Breezy, and it was nothing but a breeze for him to go up there and shoot Quavo. I really thought when I heard Quavo's response that I was going to be gagged out and my tongue
It
was
was
in my mouth.
bad. Quavo chat GPT that motherfucking rap. I don't care what anybody says. He went on the free version of chat GPT and said, give me a rap against Chris Brown. This thing is sitting out.
He should have
And
paid a
chat-
ghostwriter. He should have called
Can we really
them
talk
to come
about
write his diss. Like at that point,
what is the diss about? Like, where did all this beef come from? Because it was so random to me.
well, it did start a while ago because it was something about Quavo getting with Carucci, and you know Chris Brown kind of got an ego problem. So I think the beef all started back with Carucci, and then when Quavo was with Saweetie, now all of a sudden it's coming out that she was dealing with Saweetie while he was with her. But the beef stemmed from them. Now it's like, also though, it's like, why is all of this beef starting to come out now? Because I was confused. It was given the girls was beefing with each other, right? And in the middle of the girls beefing, back when Nicki and Meg was beefing, and it was that whole thing going on. Then out of nowhere comes Eminem with a diss track against Benzino. And I'm like, where did that beef come from? Then the rap girls just kept going. It was Lotto and Ice Spice. It's Chris Brown and Quavo. It's Rick Ross and Drake and Kendrick Lamar and Drake and everybody in the rap game. It's like after that initial like spark of like rap beefs, everything from the past just started getting rekindled with everybody. And they said, fuck it, I'm going to tell my side of the story 12 years later. And are they still gagging people out? Yes, because who knew? Who expected it? But did Chris Brown eat Quavo up? I don't see any crumbs on the plate, unfortunately.
No, he did kind of eat him up. It was mad disrespectful, but it was like, dang, what's the response gonna be?
The response
That's what I'm
was
saying.
terrible. Y'all,
We're not
y'all
calling it a response. That's not. It
I'm
doesn't
not-
deserve the name response.
No. I'm
It
gonna
was just a
say that
statement. Got it. It was
to
a
help Quavo's ego, I'm gonna say he never responded.
Right. Because if he had to lose inches off them locks for how bad every bar bodied him, he would be a ball hoe. It's sad that he was not, as a rapper, able to. But then comes the question, because I know at this point it's about the beef, right? But you know how everybody said they got paid, faves, and they feel like these are the people who body in the game. Did we ever really think, besides Takeoff, he wasn't lying about that? R.I.P. Takeoff, but he wasn't lying about that. Takeoff was the best rapper in the Migos. Did we really think that we could have expected Quavo to come out with a bomb diss track? Did we? Even though we didn't know it was coming, did we expect that Quavo was going to be able to live up to the expectation that, like, yeah, you're going to get on here and body him? No. He might be able to get on the track and hold somebody down, but that's about it. He need to be calling for his mama the way he got ate up. Like, Quavo, I was so disappointed. So disappointed.
I was living for
the
it.
Migos. I feel like when I think of the Migos, I think that they were like owning the game in the late 2010s, and then they just like disappeared and like stopped making music.
Baby, they gave us
Are they still making
bread.
music?
You said what?
Like, are they still making music?
They're
Like,
solo
what's going on with
artists,
them? Like,
just like the City
also,
Girls.
what about JT and the City Girls? Like, they're just beefing now.
That was a beef
Like,
too. That was a beef.
why? What's going? Like, I don't understand why everyone's fighting.
Carisha
You know
said
what?
that
Maybe
it's the
maybe
difference
it's because
between
of the
what?
whole Diddy. I was gonna say maybe it's because of the whole Diddy situation and everyone's, I didn't want to bring it up first, but ever since he started going to the whole clink
Oh, that was a
situation,
topic, wasn't it?
I'm just saying, ever since that situation, a lot of girls started fighting. A lot of girls aren't making music. Girls are subtweeting, people posting stuff like Nicki and Megan, City Girls, Chris Brown. All these people are fighting, and I don't know, maybe because the rap industry is in shambles now because now the head person is theoretically going to, well, is he going to jail? We don't know just yet, but it's a lot going on. So the rap industry is just in shambles right now. What's going on?
But my question is, why did people expect that this wouldn't get as messy as it's gotten? Diddy has been implicated in a lot of, especially like the older rap beefs and a lot of those like tragedies that actually did come out of those rap beefs. People knew he was involved with Tupac for the longest, but because there was never any proof or nobody ever came forward and it never really was pursued any further than what happened, Suge Knight went to jail, yada, yada, yada. Outside of that, nobody was really checking. I think P. Diddy got real cocky and he thought, at this point, it is what it is. I'm on top of the game. He was at them luncheons with Jay-Z. We're talking moguls. And as much as people feel like, oh, Rick Ross came with a diss against Drake, nobody's bumping Rick Ross music, he's in the room with him. So it's like, it got to the point where Diddy let it get to his head. And I think that people started feeling like, you must forgot. And now that everything is starting to come to light again and people are actually starting to come forward about it, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But we knew this stuff. It's just that it wasn't as much on the forefront as it is right now. So the whole thing with the City Girls, I feel like once Carisha got involved with Diddy and JT saw how messy it was getting, and JT has been trying to rebrand herself for a while now. Like, she really has tried to step into her fashion girl era, and as much as people make fun of her and Uzi, and her emo era, whatever, her goth era, as some people are calling it, it's very much, again, I feel like a certain level of growth for her, and Carisha wasn't on that. And now all her success with everything that she did as far as her podcast and everything is centered around Diddy. And it's like, who wants parts of that? You know what I mean?
Because JT, I don't feel like he's trying to be a city girl forever though.
She's not.
Like, you know what I mean? I think JT also went to jail. And I think after getting out of jail, like, okay, let's do the city girl stuff. Let's get these albums out. Let's start making music. But then even with their last album that came out, I didn't even know they even came out with an album. And the album wasn't really that good either. And then the fact that like JT is why was Young Miami dating first place? That was just such a random relationship. Like, we knew that was never a real situation at all.
Did y'all read any?
We knew she was dating him for, what are we saying?
She was dating him for how long?
For like a month. Like, I mean, not a month, but she was dating him for like a year maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. Not a long time. All I know is that I saw the Instagram stories where she was in the Chanel store getting the bags, getting the shoes, getting the, like Diddy's like, oh, I got the stack of cash. Like, we know what Young Miami was doing.
And he made that video naked. Like, Diddy really thinks like, I am that dude, I'm him. And I was just like, you look so corny. And I think that a lot of people felt that. Now, with this rap beef with JT and Carisha, she was saying that she felt like Santana always gets involved. And I love Santana now, but it does give like that him and Carisha was friends outside of like the City Girls, and JT was just kind of a part of that. At the time they were City Girls. So like I feel like she kind of felt excluded in a way, but there was people's rumors about, and I don't want to be that messy girl that started controversy rumors because this was already out there, but there was rumors about Santana playing with the Ditster as well. So like, I don't know. It's just really messy.
All I'm gonna say is the Diddy issue started a rumble.
Yeah.
Then everybody in the industry is kind of like hands off. I'm not involved, and look at this problem with this bitch that I have. Let's focus on this instead of focusing on the big issue. And I realized that more recently, a lot of this drama and stuff that's coming out is very much look over there and take your eyes off of this and look over there, because this shit I really feel is about to get super crazy, especially with the fact that I don't know if all of you guys looked at Quiet on Set, but what's going on with the whole Nickelodeon thing? I feel like this is kind of all mixed together in the madness.
Girl,
one thing, I swear everyone is being held accountable now. Like, I know people talk about cancel culture and how it's so problematic, but this is where cancel culture really does be coming in handy because these people are being held accountable. And now things are coming up left and right, and we didn't know. Oh, so now I didn't know we reported that. Like, isn't like Diddy like DL or something? Apparently,
That's what they're saying.
allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly, I don't want to. Allegedly,
Allegedly.
this is not factual. Allegedly, but
Allegedly.
this is word on the street right now, right? So like we're hearing about this situation. Manny made me watch the whole Nickelodeon thing, Quiet on Set, and I was like, all this was going on behind Nickelodeon. Miss Ariana Grande, Ariana Run Pop, Drake Bell,
And people thought it was as
from
simple as
from the
like,
1990s to the 2010s, over 20 years of mismanagement of kids of child actors, and yo, I just cannot.
look how they started showing out though
Mm-mm.
after all of that part of their lives. When they got older, look how they started showing out. The kids on set of Ned's the Classified School Survival Guy in the interview said that they were frolicking with one another while they were working in between shooting.
Yeah.
Like they were kids. They were kids, and they said this themselves in these interviews that what was going on. And I was saying to somebody like, there's certain people that came up in the industry whose parents were very involved in their career as children, and you don't really see them coming out with issues like this now. Two examples that I can think of off the top of my head are Keke Palmer and Sky Jackson. Their parents were present with them for a lot of their career. So a lot of that stuff that they were exposed to, and they said themselves, like, I know how people can be grimy. And I know, like they like when people are kid stars and they want that money and they know it's easy to like manipulate and groom them and to build them into these people that they want them to be, they will do whatever it takes. So there were certain parents who grew up with these child stars that was like, I don't want my kid to be exposed to that. But when you think about it, look how Britney Spears grew up. Look how bad it turned out for
I
her.
was just about to bring
Look
that
how
up.
bad it was for Miley Cyrus before she really came into her own and started really, delving into like who she was as a woman and as a person. And never mind the trauma she went through in these relationships and stuff like that. Justin Bieber, Jeanette McCurdy, when she wrote that book about everything that was going on with her, it has been in our faces for the longest. But I think that I told somebody NDAs must have started expiring. You know what I mean? Something happened to where it was like people just felt like, you know what, I don't have to be quiet anymore and I'm not going to. And I don't think it's so much a problem of like, oh, well, why didn't you say anything back when you had the chance? A lot of people were scared. A lot of people felt like they couldn't. A lot of people's families didn't want them to because they were dependent on that money from their children, which is sad. A lot of people felt like they really didn't have a voice and they didn't have the opportunity to really express like, this is what's going on and I need somebody to hear me. And now that stuff is done and they don't have to worry about that, yeah, it's given you're going to be held accountable. You know what I mean? So like,
The only thing I think is really sad is the fact that, I mean, those people that you pointed out, that their parents were super involved and their parents were like really trying to help them as individuals, their careers also are not as big as they could be.
That's true.
Or should be.
That's
Because
true.
let's be real. I don't care what anybody has to say on listening to this podcast. Keke Palmer writes bomb-ass music. Keke Palmer sings bomb-ass songs.
Clock it.
And y'all are sleeping on Keke because she was giving. She's giving you vocals. She's giving you music. She was giving. But because she wasn't giving into the dick jokes on Nickelodeon and all this other stuff, then you don't get certain parts of your career. And I think that is wild. There's a point now where we need to really start giving some of these people their flowers and realizing that, like, yo, Keke Palmer should be back on my TV. When she was on Legendary, that was the best season of Legendary.
It really was. It was the best season. She had all the good comebacks. She had really great critiques. You could tell that in a lot of ways. And, she has her own, journey with this. But you can tell that she really understands the community in a way that other people can't. And so I feel like even though I liked Megan on it, Keke brought a little bit more like personality, but she brought something different to it. But like you said, they would rather blackball the people who would make it known that, like, these are the flaws in this industry and this is what's going on that a lot of people don't like. And I feel like we should speak on it. And she's always been that way. And they like to blackball those people because at the end of the day, now you're affecting our bag. You're making us look bad. You're affecting our reputation. Your reputation never was that great. It's just that people aren't willing to speak on it. And the people who speak on it get blackballed. And like you said, they don't get the shine that they deserve. But Keke Palmer, Girl.
I'm telling you, and that read when Keke Palmer came for Law Roach, you tired. That was the best read of all time. She is the best at all. That was so good that Law Roach had to tell her that shit was good in
Right.
that moment.
She couldn't even lie
You
to
know
her
what it
face.
is? You know what it is to be red the house boots down and then turn around and be like, girl, you ate that.
Yep. You have to.
That was iconic. That was iconic. I want to see Keke Palmer on Real Housewives.
Yep.
I want to see her reading these bitches in Atlanta to Phil because I feel like Keke Palmer on
I need to see
Housewives.
Kiki like that. I don't want to see Kiki like that fighting with the girls. I want to see Kiki as a
She wouldn't have to
judge
fight.
making funny.
Kiki would not have to
She
touch
wouldn't be fighting.
anybody. She would not have to touch anybody. They wouldn't even want to come near her after the way she would read a bitch down. They would stay away. Because do you want to
Like,
be
I'm gonna keep
embarrassed
my
like that
opinion
on
to myself.
national television repeatedly? It's one thing for a bitch to get her ass beat on national TV. You got thrown in the sink and washed in the dishes, yeah. But if you read a bitch down so bad that like you have to think about the fact that he needed $10 to get him a medium-sized pizza, so he ejaculated in the cup so you could have a child. Think I'm gonna mess with that bitch again? No. What?
Yes. Yes.
What?
Yes.
When I tell you that the lawyer, mortuary, funeral director, degree having, job having woman, one thing that all of those degrees do is they taught her how to read the house boots down. And she gives it to the girl.
Definitely, definitely. It's not too many people that can. It's not too many people that can really shake up the room so much that the room isn't moving. Everybody's sitting
Well,
there
that's
still. Did she just say that? Did she just read her down like that? And she did.
She did.
And she did.
I mean, clearly the girl don't get the recognition, and I definitely just feel that how I think I forgot who said it when you guys said it, but something about like people getting blackballed from the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely when people are, they shake up the room, people who question things, people who are going to do something for a quick dollar,
Mm-hmm.
a quick, quick to fame. Like how are you talking about Britney Spears, right? How you have these childhood actors. They like some of these parents really see their kids as like a moneymaker. I mean, look at the situation with Honey Boo Boo and her mom. Honey Boo Boo is now an adult woman and she got no money anymore. Mama, where my $30,000? So whatever the mom said, I was using it to buy a house, whatever. Okay, but what about the other account though to go to college? You should help me pay to go to college. Alana, we don't got the money. I'm sorry, but these parents don't care about their kids. They think about, oh, Britney Spears, yeah, you are going to be a slave to the industry. That song, I'm a slave for you. Yeah, she was a slave to her parents, making her go do those. Like, I'm sorry, but when I saw that music video of her dancing at the MTV Music Awards, girl was so skinny. Girl looked like she was dancing, having a snake on her neck. I'm like, who signed off on this? Parents didn't care. MTV was like, we're gonna get these ratings. We're gonna keep getting making money from this girl. And like how Manny was saying earlier, how people don't make albums anymore, especially in the music industry, and not even just that, but just the industry as a whole, right? It's always about the dollar. They're always making a remake of the same damn movie.
Yep.
Apparently, they're gonna make a Legally Blonde 3. They don't want to make new ideas. We don't want to really think about creativity or try to create art because that's not gonna sell. We're gonna just make a quick track. We're gonna get these kids to make these inappropriate videos because we just know they're gonna give us some money. It's just a mess. And I just feel like ever since COVID, the music industry, the movie industry has just been in shambles.
Downhill.
Like, what's going on with these executives? Like them getting rid of Legendary was a flop. They don't want queer artists because that just shakes up the room too much.
Right.
We don't want queer artists because that's just
It
a little
pissed
bit
me
too
off.
controversial. But it's making the money. Wait, so do y'all not want the money for this though?
That's the thing.
But we
People
want
under.
money. But it's
No, go
yeah,
ahead. Go
it's
ahead. Go
just
ahead. I'm
sorry.
sorry. I'm so
I got one
sorry.
more thing too. I gotta say one more thing too, because I also just feel like they also cater to certain demographics of people.
Yeah.
And when everywhere is like a black woman, like a Kiki Palmer trying to do something, any type of these gay people, we'll do it for one season. Okay, that was a fluke. But then next thing you know, oh, Yeah, they're actually making money from this situation. And the fact that Taraji P. Henson said that she's still a struggling actor in these streets. And that she said that she's still not getting paid what she's worth after doing The Color Purple. And I'm like, this girl been in the industry. She's still not taken seriously yet?
You got me
I'm sorry.
heated just thinking about it. First of all, the comment you made about the queer, like the girls, the queer community, the community in general. People underestimate the impact that LGBTQ people play in their careers. Prime examples. Okay, this is since we're talking about the industry in general, the baby, when he fell from glory, you don't know how many of us were like, oh, wow, like this is something I can really bond to. Like, he did not know his fan base. Obviously, didn't know his fan base. He clearly didn't know his fan base because after he made that one comment, his career plummeted. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's irritating because people have all these things to say, but at the end of the day, your dollars are coming from these people that are supporting you. So in some way, you need to be responsible socially for the way that you're interacting with the audience, whether or not you think they're with you or not, whether or not you agree with their lifestyle or not. If it's really about the money and you care about the dollars, some stuff you should be willing to put to the side. And it might come out at some other point in time, but if you really cared about the money like that, you would see it like that. But that just lets you know how like much hatred people hold in their hearts. You know what I mean? Like, it's so bad that you don't even realize, like, damn, I'm probably gonna drown my shit. Like, and then it was another comment you made about Taraji P.
I just
Henson.
know people don't like, yeah, people don't like to support each other. Clearly,
And
people don't like to support each other because people are looking at the next bitch who's doing better than them. Let's try to tear this hoe down. Oh, we want to help you out, but we don't want you to be better than me. Gay people going #1, making #1 TV shows. We got to scratch that from the books because they can't be outselling certain people and having certain shows on the television show. Like, look at RuPaul Drag Race. How many Emmys do they got now? Like 10 in a row?
but that's the problem I have. That's the problem I have. They take one thing, one person, and make them the token and make that socially acceptable. And because we gave you that, there's the representation for the LGBT community. The whole purpose of the Girlbye podcast is to talk about, I feel like, the diaspora of the community. There's so much more than just we're gay. You know what I mean? Than just, we dance and we shake our ass and we put on wigs and we wear makeup and we wear heels and we want to be women and that's what people think. There's a whole, what is it that people say back in the day when they was talking about these actors at range? You know what I mean? There's like levels to this shit. And I feel like it gets so irritating to consistently get one piece of the pie and be like, this is what it is. And people hated me for so long because they were like, why is it so much that you hate drag? And it's not that I hate drag, but it's like when we were in college, that was the only representation we had of LGBTQ outside of the stuff that we were doing in the organization. Taraji P. Henson is certified in the hood and the academy. She made Baby Boy and she made Hidden Figures and she ate in both roles. And you mean to tell me that she's struggling with pay? I'm not only mad about the representation in the community, I'm mad about the representation in the LGBT community. I'm mad about the representation in general. And it's always the Black women, the talented Black women that don't get as much recognition. And girl, I could go on for days about this. I'm sorry.
Yo, this could be a whole episode itself.
Listen.
That part, because there's so much to talk about.
There's two things that I really want to touch on that I find so crazy. And I don't think people realize it. And I think it happens across the board because even y'all gay boys out here be doing the same shit because I know a lot of people think that, oh, they're gay or whatever. Maybe they're not racist. That's a lie. There's a lot of racist gay people. Just going to say that. But if you be looking at these drag queens, why is it that a lot of these white girls have a lot more of the following than the Black and the Latin girls? When the Black and the Latin girls are really showing out and really showing an art form that is better than some of these other girls. And it's the same thing when we look at the movie industry. It's the same thing when we look at singers and artists. Y'all be trashing J-Lo, but that last album was fully conceptual.
But last Sorry, she ate with the album. Like,
The
that's
lyrics,
what I'm saying. Like, you're okay
everything.
with Taylor Swift with her vocal range, but this girl is yo.
I'll give
So
you J Lo over
this is what
Taylor
I'm
Swift. I
saying.
will. I at least give you J Lo over Taylor Swift.
You see,
I'm just
this is the
saying.
thing. Like, even like the levels doesn't make sense to me. Right? Even J Lo, right? J Lo is not pretending that she's the best singer in the world. She's not the best. You know, she's just. I'm a dancer first. I act second, and I occasionally Jenny from the block doing whatever I'm doing in the studio with the auto tune, right? But like, she knows that she gets it. J Lo, right? But we can't. But we can't even talk about T Swizzle and her lyrics. We can't talk about JoJo Siwa and her saying that she's trying to recreate gay pop. Yo, it's
Okay,
just
what she said.
yo. She
Yeah,
said,
let's.
I want to create a different genre. I want to be that no one in my generation has ever done before. I want to create gay pop. You know, I guess she's trying to be the new Miley Cyrus because Miley Cyrus has, you know, whatever inspired her. But then she made that song Karma. Vocals ain't there. It just seems that she's trying too hard. She's
She
dressed up
stole
as
the
if she's
song
a
Karma. She paid somebody for their song from 20 years ago and played the same song with her vocals auto-tuned
girl.
over
Are
the
we
It's
talking
top of
about
it.
Taylor Swift still, Karma?
No, JoJo Siwa.
no, it's a different type of
They need
karma.
to
Yeah,
leave the
but you
word
see,
Karma alone because it's not coming back great for them. They need to leave it
listen,
alone.
I'm just saying. Listen, JoJo, and I didn't really add JoJo into this, even though the month of April has really had a lot of JoJo on the internet. And the reason I really didn't add her into this podcast is really because ultimately I feel like she gives the queer community not the best light, and I think that that is something that's really that I on this podcast am really trying to change is the fact that we are the same real people that you see every single day. Like the one other thing I wanted to touch on a minute ago that we were talking about was fan base. I don't know about any of y'all listening to this podcast, and I'm pretty sure there's not a single straight man listening to this podcast because straight men don't pay or listen to artists or people's podcasts or nothing. The straight men don't do that. It's the girls and the gays that are the fan bases for anyone. They're the people spending the dollars to go see these people.
Yeah.
I have never in my life heard of a sold out Quavo concert.
Look at the barbs. Look at Nicki Minaj as a whole. Every race is going there. Gays, I mean, just the gays alone could fill up a whole stadium. Just the
I'm
teenage girls. Like, it's just, yo, if you don't have the gays or the girls, you ain't gonna be famous. Look at Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny got hella gay fans. I love him. And he's bigger than, no shade to the other Latin boys, but like Anuel, Jay
not too
Cortez.
much on
Like,
my husband.
love
Hold
y'all,
on.
but like,
Oh, the guys are quaking. Not too much of my husband on well. I'm an on well lover if y'all didn't know that. Like, that's my
But you know what?
we do.
If you look at the Latin industry, right? Rao is outwardly okay with his gay fans, and so is Bad Bunny, and that's why they're up where they are. Because
Yep.
when you give off that bad
like
vibe
it.
that you're not really for the gays, we're not going to support you either.
And see, that's where I'm well fucked up at because as soon as he said something about he didn't fuck with Bad Bunny no more, the way he was acting after Bad Bunny went, what video was it where he put the was it it wasn't
Dead
yesterday
or
was Cold
Solo
Out,
or
was
something
it?
like that.
Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
where he got in drag.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it was like, and you know, he kind of said like, damn, but and there was a lot of people that was like not fucking with him after that, but it's one of those things where like, bro, it's 2024. Even if you aren't, and even if you know, we're trying to attract or appeal to a certain fan base, why is that such a problem? Why is it so bad that you want to make your other followers feel seen? Like, oh, you are part of the community, but you fuck with my music. Well, a lot of people say if you fuck with my music, I fuck with you. I made music to put out because I wanted people to feel something. I wanted to impact people in a certain type of way. I wanted to bring something to people's lives. So if I did that and you happen to be gay, cool. You know what I mean? But everybody don't think like
Period.
that. But then again, that also comes from, I was gonna say, like, especially with JoJo Siwa, that's like intrinsically that's something with her. She just came out not too long ago, so she's trying to figure herself out. So it's not going to be the best representation because she's not there yet. But in rap, in the history of rap, and I'm sure you know, it bleeds into other genres. It's not typically been seen as okay for men to do all of these like outlandish, as some people will call it, things, these taboo things, because men don't do that. Men rap, men are hard, men are macho, and it's not supposed to give anything outside of that. So, I mean, that bleeds
Well, you
into
see,
reggaeton.
part of the issue with JoJo Siwa that I have specifically right now is that every time she opens her mouth, she is literally referring back to being a lesbian. Almost. There's a couple of times where no, but like even her last podcast interview on Call Her Daddy, she basically spent the time talking about being a lesbian, and that's not an identity.
Right.
You are not only a lesbian. You are a child star. You had to deal with Abby Lee Miller. You are a dancer. She can
Right.
dance the house down.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you be those things? Why do you have to be a lesbian?
We're
Why
a
does that have to
lesbian
be
as
the
a badge
first
of
thing you
honor.
have to do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's saying to be shameful to be a lesbian, but the people aren't walking around being like, oh, I'm straight, because that would be weird. So why do we have to do it as being queer? We don't have to walk around telling people, oh, I'm queer. I'm not walking in a room letting people know ahead of time because I don't care. That does not define who I am as an individual, my choices, my decisions, what I believe in. All of those things does not have to necessarily coincide with me being a gay man. And I think for her, you came out of the closet yesterday, and now you're walking around with a banner. You've already been through 22 girlfriends. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's only been like 3. I think it's only been like 2 or 3. You broke up with one through a text message. It has been hella messy. You've just been messy, so it looks messy. And then you're saying shit on out in the world that you feel like you should be the COO of gay pop. Gay pop has been around forever. Gay pop, you have so many artists in gay pop that cannot make it past the gay fandom because straight people don't want to let them. People like Troye Sivan, who has been making bomb ass music for the longest.
Point.
You're telling me that Todrick Hall, although he's got all his drama
I
and
was about to
shit,
say
Todrick was making beats.
he was.
All music is fire. I'm sorry. His music's fire.
Before the drama, take
No
away the
shade. It's
drama.
fire.
Take away the drama. Those first few albums he came out with were fully thought out pieces of work that were going on tour and being done on stages, like Broadway shows that he made for himself. So you're telling me that the gay people, that is gay pop. We've had gay pop forever. And now you're trying to talk about reinventing gay pop. You want to be Miley? You're not Miley. You will never be Miley. Because Miley is an underrated artist. I cannot believe that we are in 2024 and you're telling me this is the time that she won her first Grammy. With the music that Miley Cyrus has been putting out for years, you're telling me that this is when she deserved it?
And
We still talking about Bangers. Bangers is still a bomb ass album. I don't care what nobody
it's so
says.
controversial, but it is a good album. There are still songs that I would go back and play to this day. And if we're talking about not just gay pop, we're talking about queer pop. Let's
Queer
mention
pop.
Lady Gaga, baby. You were not the first to do this, and you will not be the last. And you will
I
not be
mean,
the
Gaga is
last.
the definition.
Lady
When you
Gaga.
think of gay pop, Gaga is on the top of the list, top 5. Actually, she's number 1.
She's number
Period.
1. Lady Gaga is number 1 in K-pop. Lady Gaga's outfits, her thought process, and Beyonce.
The queen
And
of
Beyonce. Beyonce
avant-garde.
Telephone, Gaga and Beyonce Telephone, that's gay pop at its finest.
Girl, what? Girl,
When you talk
what?
about something that, when people needed to know what camp was at the damn Met Gala, they should have went and watched that fucking video.
Well,
And they would have knew what camp was.
Because they don't do their homework. That's what I'm saying though. Like people don't understand. Like how are you gonna do a category but not even do the category? How are you gonna say you're gonna make gay pop but don't even know about gay pop? Like this is what y'all need to do y'all research for before y'all start getting on the internet. Like where's our publicists at? Where's our management? Like what are they? What's going on back behind the scenes? Like are y'all not telling JoJo like girl don't say that because girl
They get
one is not factual.
excited. They come out
Two it don't make
beside
no
me and they get
sense. And girl
excited.
But
like I get it.
on a
She's
side note,
21. What are you saying?
on a small note, I know that probably you guys haven't seen it because it came out today. But where I talk about what my problems are with JoJo Siwa, she got a car with her face plastered all over it.
I already don't like when people do stuff like that anyway, gay or straight. It just gives very like
Narcissist?
right. It's like
And this is
people who do stuff to be like cinematic and animated is very like cringy to me because it's like it's like you're begging for people look at me, look at me, look at me. And it's like what I was gonna say to the comment you made about like instead of like plastering it and wearing it like a badge of honor, what's understood definitely doesn't have to be explained. You know what I mean? And I feel like what happens is they end up having to explain so much and having to go back and write these apologies and having to come out and say, I'm sorry about this, and having to, I was coming from this place and I did this because it's not authentic. It's not authentic. What's understood doesn't have to be explained. And what you show people outside of what you feel like you have to plaster all over for the world to see is what people are really gonna that gets down to the nitty-gritty of it. Like what can you offer, what music can you put out, what kind of choreography can you give us, what is your art, what are your talents, like what can we see from you that you don't have to say nothing, and it's like, oh girl, you ate that. But if every time you come out the only thing you keep saying is the same thing over and over, that's something that everybody else is also talking about, it's like, okay, at this point it's getting corny. Which is why, oh God,
Animals.
it's so
Period.
much. It's so
Now,
Maybe
much.
it's her
things
age.
that are
Maybe she should be.
now
Maybe a couple more years she'll grow out of this phase. But right now, JoJo, wrap it up. Enough's
It's a child.
enough. Get it together. Go to Europe. Do a study. Do it like on a abroad trip somewhere and find yourself. Like stop. Like do something, girl. Because it is not. Like you need a break from the industry, girl. You've been working since you were like 5 years old. Take a I don't know, 2 year hiatus. Like go away and come back and be like, yeah, guys, I'm came back. I'm 24. I'm an adult woman. Let's really get into my gig. Like try your acting gig out. I know you done some movies here and there probably. Singing, I mean, I don't know if that's really the right move for you. Maybe like a judge for like a dance show, maybe. I can see that more. But like,
and
Something.
if you
where's
want to do the
management
singing,
at?
take a 2 year hiatus. Go write the most bomb ass album. Go get some people to write your music for you and sing it for you and all of that stuff so you can auto tune your voice over it. That's fine. And you could do that, right? But like, go and like take a breather and re-understand yourself, right? So talking about these things. Oh, go ahead. You got one more thing?
Yeah, I was just gonna my last little tidbit. I was gonna say the reason we're talking about this, like the reason I'm bringing this up is because we're talking about it. I had to just quickly insert in here. I am a Halle Bailey stan, and I feel like if bitches took a page out of her book, they would be good. She kept it authentic with the music she did. It was true to her, and it eats. She's in her movie girl bag, and what do you do? What do you see when she's all over Snapchat? She's out with her man on vacation in Jamaica. She's in the Caribbean. She's in this country, that country. Take a page out of her book. I'm gonna leave it there.
You know what Halle Bailey did? You know what she did?
What she
She
do?
took a page out of the Beyonce book.
Bingo.
She's co-signed by her. That's why they're under Ivy Park.
Just
Beyonce told
saying.
her from the jump, girl, be silent, do what you need to do, don't play into the BS. Like, look at Beyonce right now. She's in Japan still doing whatever she's doing. She's not dealing with the hoes. She's like,
Living.
y'all in America fighting, rap industry going crazy. Me, my husband, and my 3 little kids are gonna be in Asia for a minute, and we'll come back when we feel we're ready to come back. That's what the tea's gonna be. Yeah, we'll come. Yeah, Halle, make your music, stay with your baby, your new mom, hubby, chill,
Get into
why
the
you too
gig.
grown for this?
Right.
You too
Right.
grown for this to be beefing with people like Taylor Swift still coming for Kim K with 4 children, a whole businesswoman trying to be a lawyer, an
He
actress,
is not
girl.
letting up on her.
Like, girl is bored. Like,
We're
clearly.
back. We're back
I'm
at T
sorry. I
Swizzle.
just could not. I had to bring her up one more time. One more time.
What were we
All right, so
sliding
talking
into?
to keep us moving along here and talking about trying to get rid of people and letting them take a hiatus to write better music. What do you guys feel about Coachella?
I didn't see much about Coachella this year. I know that there was a lot of like Flowchella going around. I think Glorilla was at Coachella. I was Megan at Coachella. I don't really know. I feel like normally Coachella headlines are a lot bigger. And I feel like this year it was given there wasn't much to pick from. So let's just put some big names out there and see what happens. I could be wrong because I also don't really delve much into social media as much as I used to these days, but Coachella didn't seem as much of a big event for me this year as it usually is.
Yeah, I didn't really feel like I heard people talk about it like that. I mean, like, I heard about Doja Cat did good, but I'm like, the tickets are way too expensive, and I'm like, girl, I'm not about to spend an arm, a leg, and a kidney to go. It's just in this economy too. Who's paying to go see these artists like
All
that?
the influencers, because that's the only people that was there from what I saw.
Literally, only
So that's what I wanted
influencers.
to get into when I brought up Coachella. So because I noticed, I mean, there are. Don't get me wrong. There are people that are going to Coachella. There were some pretty good people there. Like Young Miko was there. Janae Aiko was
She
there.
was.
Um, there was some people that I would have loved to see. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong. But I also noticed that I feel like across social media platforms, the only real people I saw posting about it were influencers, people
Yep.
who were paid to go to this
Yep.
event. And
Mm-hmm.
so my personal opinion on that is like, why are we having an event for influencers? Like, why is that like a thing where like now basically this is turning into a weekend for influencers to hang out with each other, people to tell you about what kind of tent to buy or what kind of things you need in your car to live on the piece of land instead of getting a hotel, or they were giving us all this advice about how to get to Coachella. It almost felt like the ticket sales are so low that we have to get all these influencers to make people want to go. And then I have never seen a Coachella end and the new ones like dates come out like the next day.
You're right. They're already trying to schedule for 2025 already, girl. Like,
The
dang,
dates are the dates are already out for
that's what I'm
2025.
saying though. Like, that's crazy. Like, y'all really need money this bad, so I guess people can get their lives together for. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I really don't. Really, I'm not really caring to go to Coachella. I mean, maybe if I was LA, but like, I gotta get a flight to go. I gotta get a car to go there, and then I gotta figure out if I'm gonna get a hotel. But if I get a hotel, then I'm gonna have to get an Uber to go to the. It's too much work. What am I eating? I gotta share a bathroom with these. I say dirty, but hygiene is not the best when you're in the desert, clearly. So like, I don't want to deal with that either, though, too. And I don't want to piss in a porta potty, and I'm gonna have to pay for VIP because I'm a bougie girl, and I don't want to spend an extra $1,000. Like, this trip is about to be $5K already, and I don't want to do that right now. Like, it's just
Maybe that's why they only
how
had the
people dealing with
influencers
this.
like promoting it and showing up because. And maybe that's why they released the date so quickly because it's like at this point, you see who's going, you see the status that Coachella has. So, like, you need to prepare early if you really want to go. But my question is, was the marketing so great? And clearly from this conversation, I don't really feel like it was that everybody was like, ooh, all the influencers was there. I want to go. And then on top of that, with us facing this potential TikTok ban, it's like, is it going to be easy for people who felt like, oh, I see myself in that space to now wait a whole year to introduce themselves to that type of lifestyle to the point where it's like, I'm going to be able to get a Coachella because of the status that I have when we don't even know if the biggest social media app that's making people famous right now is going to be here. I don't feel like that was the best idea if it was a market employee from Coachella to get people to go. But I feel like Coachella was already one of those events where people felt like Coachella has always been, I feel like, a little bit more of one of those expensive events. So I feel like, I don't know, it was just in poor taste to have it to where it was like they made Coachella an ad rather than an experience. I don't know. It felt bad on the part of the marketing crew.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing, and I just wanted to kind of touch base on it a little bit because of that. I just felt like back in the when I was younger, and I remember being like getting into like my teenage years and
Hmm.
like learning about Coachella. I
Right.
remember Coachella being like, like what the people in the '70s talk about. What's the one where everybody got high? That festival. Woodstock, where everybody was talking about Woodstock and like how that was like such a big thing. You know what I'm saying? I got
Yeah.
like that kind of vibe from Coachella. Like it's an experience. You're going for
Right.
the purposes and like you're going for the journey and you're going for the like living outdoors and being a part of this festival and blah blah blah. Where this year it was like a whole I felt like I was watching commercial after commercial after commercial about Coachella instead of like real people expressing themselves.
Which is what we were so used to seeing normally from Coachella. But I mean, see what happens next year? Question mark.
Can I say one
That
thing?
part.
I want to just say one thing. I'm low-key getting tired of the day in my life, the influencers. Because, like, I mean, I don't know. It's just, like, what happened to the old YouTubers? Like, when people that were relatable, just made funny videos, okay, they go on trips here and there. Everything just seems so commercial now. Like, it just seems so, hey guys, so this is what I'm doing. This is my hair care routine. This is what I'm doing today. Like, it's just like, it just seems very forced. It doesn't seem relatable. It's like, I'm not going to compete with this girl who got flued out from Revlon. Hey, this is what I got to do. Girl, you know that your fans are not being able to go to Coachella and you're relatable to me. I don't see like it just seems too forced. It doesn't seem real. It seems fake. It doesn't seem that is what is the experience? It just seems like we're doing it for likes on social media instead of actually experiencing the thing.
And for those of you who feel the same way, I'd like to introduce you to the podcast called Girlbye and the social media in which we talk about queer conversation. And we like to
Period.
make sure that people are
We hate social
being
media, but we still
real
got to
and
put the plug in
authentic.
though.
Listen, check it. But that's the thing. Like, I feel like a lot of people were. It was a thing where people were. It was easier in the earlier social media days because certain things it was easier to like get an audience without having to do too much. Like Vine with the 7-second videos, all you have to do is take 7 seconds to make something that's relatable to everybody, and boom. But it wasn't so much where like TikTok, they started with it was 3-second videos, then it went to 60 seconds, then it went to a minute. Now you can make a 10-minute video, and then we end up with Reese Tisas. No shade because I love the series, but it got to the point where it became like people living for the entertainment to people living vicariously through everybody's lives on social media to people now just being engrossed in what everybody has going on and everybody's doing the same thing, so it's boring because it's like, and I think that's probably why I fell out of love with social
Maybe
media.
that's what I'm feeling. Maybe I'm just bored from it. I'm seeing like 30 people at Coachella. Girl, I'm not there. I mean, all y'all on your phones. Like, why haven't you just posting photos about it? Like, it's just like, it just seems very just, I don't know, just very,
A lot of entertainment
very
nowadays is a little bit more
compromised.
opportunistic than it is
Right. It just feels
entertaining.
like, yeah.
So I think that's where like people, there's like a very thin line in the sand and the lines are starting to get blurred because it's one of those things where people just they don't want to entertain anymore. They want to monetize and capitalize. And so it's just hard to enjoy. And I think it doesn't have any. At first, I was like, I'm so old. Like, I'm getting older. I'm only 26, but I'm like, I'm getting so old that I'm like, I had to touch with everything that's going on. But I think really it's just that I'm uninterested. And it's not because of age, it's because there's nothing that's like drawing me to stay attached to what's going on in the media, especially when everything is the same, even down to one of the topics we talked about today. It's like rat beef is becoming more of a trend than an actual like, I remember I had a conversation with one of my friends PJ a while ago about like rat beef because we were talking about the Cardi and Nicki beef, and we were like, I was kind of like, I don't understand like why does it have to be beef? Like, why does it give that? And she was like explaining like the history of rap is like, people were taking digs at each other, but it was a little bit more respected because it was about the lyricism, it was about the creativity, it was about the art. It wasn't so much about, ooh, everybody's beefing, so now let me see how I can throw mine in there and get everybody to pay attention to me. It's almost giving me that the whole industry is pick me's. but I didn't say it.
You said it first. I mean,
Damn.
let's be honest though.
But I
What's
mean, it's
going on
not
with rap
wrong.
right now? I mean, what album other than the last album I felt like that was really making me jump on my good foot was Nicki Minaj.
This is
Pun
good, but y'all
intended.
have both taken me out. I can't.
But like, let's be honest. Like, the only person that's really giving me music right now is still Nicki Minaj. Like, let's be honest. Drake is just corny now at this point. Last album wasn't
Me,
giving like that. I mean, J. Cole, I like some of J. Cole's old stuff, but like I'm not really feeling the rap game right now. I just feel like
The
I'm waiting for
last
Meg to
thing
come out
that
with her
Drake
album.
had, the last thing that Drake had trending on the internet was his dick.
oh, which
Which
That was a cute, and that was a cute 72 hours of Drake. But I'm like, I can't, I cannot.
it was.
it was.
I mean, I still did try to watch the video though. I was like, let me see what's going on. But like, it's just, I mean, I still had to, do my, my journalism and see what's going
Period.
on.
Nina
But
Parker.
right. But at the end of the day, I mean, I'm not really checking for Drake anymore at this point. And it's just so sad because Emil, I was obsessed with
Drake stand down.
during that.
You could not get enough of Drake.
And really, and then ever since, what happened. I just stopped listening to him like that. I just feel like the albums aren't as good anymore.
They're not.
He's definitely just made singles. Like at this point, just be a single artist. Why are you even making albums? Just wrap it up and just make a single. Well, I mean, look at what Cardi B is doing. Cardi B is literally just making singles. That's what Cardi B is doing at this point.
That's a good point.
And she's not apologetic about it at all.
They're
Like,
not
yeah, girl, I
bad.
can make singles.
They're not bad. I'll give her that. They're not bad.
I come out, I'll go to the studio, I might record 1,000 songs, but you know what? I'm just gonna release the best song from the list. And that's that. A body of work. Oh, girl, that's too much work for me. I can't do it. No, I understand.
As much as I was a part of the I want to choose a side group, I do think that at some point you have to come to respect these artists as they grow. And I feel like you grow at a stage of like, I see a lot on Facebook of the girls arguing about everybody's a barb, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, yeah, I love Nicki down, but like some things I agree with, some things I don't. And with Cardi B, it was like there were certain things I think that she really did grow out of. And so while I don't think she's the best rapper, you can't take away from the artistry of what she does. I feel like she's good at picking beats that she knows is going to get the girls moving, and she's good at visuals, and she's great with marketing. So I feel like she knew like people weren't feeling my albums, but one thing I can do is mark it down. Another thing I can do is give the girls something they can pop to. All I got to do is market it so great and make it sound so good that it's hard for people to resist, and she's good at that. So why would I care about not getting an album from her? You know what I mean? That's why people are so stressed about not getting a Rihanna album because, bitch, we already know. You'll give us the visuals, you'll give us the artistry, you'll give us the vocals, you'll even give us a little bit of choreo. Like, you have it down. And you just refusing to give us an album, which, Ree, take your time, baby. I'm not mad at you, girl. I'm just saying, like, it's one of those things where, like, you learn how artists grow and you grow with them.
No, absolutely not. You had me until you telling Rihanna to take her time. I'm over that. I am so over this.
She's not coming out with the music. She's like, girl, I'm not coming out with it. I'm so done. She's over the music.
I have never in my life been so upset to find out a bitch was pregnant. I have never in my fucking life been so upset. Because out of all the things you could have gave us at the damn Super Bowl, you gonna tell me you fucking pregnant. I was so
TV. We were
upset. I was so upset. Because you know what? Nope. I'm proud. Good job, girl. You're happy. You having your babies. You living your life. But like, just tell us you're not coming back. Stop leaving me on this. You holding me on like Taylor Swift to an ex.
What happened to just coming out with a pregnancy photo shoot?
I wish I had a clock right now. Oh my gosh. Start clocking you when you upload this. Been clocking it. Y'all been clocking it all night. I promise. That's crazy.
So she better send us a cease and desist in a second. She's like, keep my name out your mouth.
For real. For real.
Really?
For real. By me. I don't care.
Right. There was a topic that came up before this, and it was delving into that last topic that I think we was going to talk about. And I don't know where we at in the discourse, but it just made me think
Okay,
of something. And I'm
so
like, hold on.
no, yeah, let's drive into the final topic that we have for today, which is probably the most craziest thing I think that could happen in the US government, which is wild, the amount of shit going on in the world. But I cannot believe that we have actually seen a ban on our own freedom of speech.
Is it?
I mean, you go with you take it off first. I got to think about this because this is just.
It's
Ooh.
giving that. And the worst part about it is because is it only giving a ban on freedom of speech, or is it giving a ban on consumption of knowledge? Because the more that TikTok reveals to people, and the more that people can learn on TikTok, and the more that people can become autonomous, and the more that people can learn about the ways that the government are taking advantage of people, that you can go around it, the less the government feels like, we need to keep this. Because like I said, with mine, it was 7 seconds. You made a video, it was cool. With Musically, you was making little dance videos or whatever. Before Musically became TikTok, you was making dance videos and it was cool. Tumblr had its controversies, but it was not giving TikTok. You know what I mean? Now that there's more of a consumption of knowledge on TikTok, as much as we have, dug into social media today, there is a lot that TikTok has allowed people to become more privy to. And I feel like the government doesn't want more knowledgeable citizens in the United States. The government doesn't want more autonomous citizens in the United States because that's how people rally together and devise coups and this, that, and the third. So I feel like, and then not only that, I read more into it. Out of all the things that we were going to talk about tonight, I really had to read a little bit more about this because, I feel like you said it's a ban on freedom of speech. So that already sets the precedent for how the government feels like they can control the people, right? But the other part of it is this sets the precedent for which I already feel like it's been brewing, but like, bitch, I signed up for the draft not thinking that of all the history we have to live through, that would be something that we would potentially have to worry about. You know what I mean? Like they're giving weapons to Ukraine, and I saw that it was like, oh God, what was it? Was they're giving them
$95 billion.
missiles. Yeah, but it was like they were breaking down what the 95 billion encompasses, and it was like $63 million in weaponry. They were sending out missiles. I think it was like non-airstrike missiles or something was what it was called. $8.2 billion in damn, what was it? It was like $8.2 billion in humanitarian efforts. So like they were breaking down the different stuff. But it's just like the United States is really helping these countries fight back. And girl, you know what it means when countries start forming allies and people start sending missiles and invading countries. They thought we was on the brink with with Trump, but it's like it hasn't gotten any better. It hasn't gotten any better. And
Yeah,
if you
and
notice towards the end of both of these presidencies, it's given like y'all stirring the pot now more than ever.
well, and the other things I want to add to this, this whole thing before Christian, you dive into your thoughts, but so what I have found in a lot of the stuff that I have gone out of my way to read,
Mm-hmm.
internationally and in the U.S., I find it to be extremely shocking that there is so many record proof of the American society lowering the standards for education, for getting people aware of things going on, for helping their citizens, that we don't take the time to really sit down and go, hey, this is a problem. You guys are stopping people from learning and growing, because if people learn and grow, they will not work with you. Because we have people in America right now where the cost of living is so high that a majority of Gen Zers live at home because they can't actually afford to move out. It's not that they don't want to move out. It's not that they're not working a full-time job, 2 full-time jobs, 3 full-time jobs. They cannot physically afford to pay rent. And people are like, oh, move out. Yeah, you want people to move out to the Midwest. And nobody wants to live there because all of the people that live out there are the racist people that don't want any of those people there. So you have a country that is not accepting of its citizens as a whole. And then now you're creating a barrier for education, for help, for people to understand certain things. TikTok is an information platform. They are working harder than ever to make TikTok a search engine. That means that TikTok will replace Google. And if any of you
And it
guys
would.
are listening to this podcast think that YouTube and Facebook and all of this stuff is not managed by the US government, you are wrong. Because I will tell you right now that as somebody that is not assigned to either party and that looks at a lot of different stuff on the internet, it is quite ironic that my TikTok shows me stuff from around the world and my Facebook continues to show me the racism in the Midwest.
Where's that clock?
To be
I'm
honest, though, they
telling
don't want
you,
us to know the
you
stuff.
are clocking it. I'm
Because
telling you, it's really bad. It's really bad. And I was saying this the other day. I'm sorry, Christian. I'm gonna let you cook. But I was saying the other day. At the end of the day, like when it comes to knowledge and the consumption of knowledge, like the older generation, when it comes to politics, it's always about policy, right? And they're going to vote for the people who are putting these policies in place, the policies that cater to what they consider to be the best ideals for the American public, or whatever you want to call it, right? The American society. Younger people, as much as they have their autonomy and things like that, they're less willing to play into politics, and it's more about like, I'll do things my way on my terms, and I'll kind of take my own path. But then they won't get out there and vote for or they won't even go out there and become the people who can make a real change in the American society. You know what I mean? So it's like harder because it's like, yeah, on one end you have it where it's like there is that level of like freedom that they have. It's the other level of like, even though it is hard right now, we have the potential to be the changing force for everything that's going on. But I mean, it's just no drive. It's no motivation to get out there and be like, it's going to be me. And before y'all watching this podcast, be like, well, why don't you do it? Instead, I wanted to be that person. I would gladly love to spread knowledge. I would gladly love to help people, see things for the bigger picture. I don't know. I have the capacity to be that person to, lead the charge, so to speak. But I mean, it's one of those things like if everybody banded together, whether people wanted to be the lead the charge and be the head of that or not, like if we were making more noise, there would be a lot more changes. But I'm not gonna say that on here because then the government will really be knocking at my door. But yeah, it's one of those things where people got to stand up, honey. Okay, Christian, I'm sorry.
no, it's a mess. Like this whole TikTok ban is they keep saying they're trying to protect us from like the from foreign governments and stuff, but I just feel like, to be honest, everything I see on my For You pages is pretty much about what's going on in the U.S. People are having conversation. People are bringing up, ever since people were able to do the stitches and add hyperlinks to those damn TikToks. Oh no, it was game over. Once you could bring up a screenshot and start, hey, this is your senator doing this. This is his phone number. Click the link in the bio, and that started to change stuff. The fact that you don't gotta go on Instagram or Facebook, and also Facebook has been known to spread misinformation. I mean, look at those trials they had with Mark Zuckerberg, and he didn't know what to say. And and the thing about TikTok, yeah, TikTok, people can say whatever they want on TikTok. It's the internet. But at least with TikTok, you have stitches. You have people that can respond to these videos, and you can actually see stuff. Unlike with Instagram and Facebook, where you have a bot, where we don't even know who it is, I mean, a bot can't just post a video. You got to at least show your face. You got to pull up an article. So it's more hard to, you know, not. I just feel like it's a lot harder to spread misinformation on TikTok because someone's gonna say something. It's like what JoJo Siwa. JoJo Siwa can say all day long she can try to make gay pop, but I guarantee you a lot of people had comments about that, and a lot of people definitely stitched those videos about that. So it's a lot harder to spread misinformation on TikTok. And not just that, everyone's spreading information. So now you're getting multiple sources, you're getting multiple articles, multiple links, multiple stuff where you're actually having to look, okay, she did her, APA format, stasis or whatever to this essay she just posted online. So, and I think the fact that the government doesn't know how to handle this. Let's be honest, the government are run by a bunch of boomers. Most of these people are 50, 65 and up. Look at the two people that are running for president right now. One is 80 something years old. The other one is like 2 years younger. They really should be in a retirement home, or just better yet, be at home watching Jerry Springer instead of trying to run the damn government. So the fact that y'all don't understand how to even use TikTok, let alone your own Facebook page, yeah, they want to ban all social media because guess what? They can't even, like, I'm sorry, but with Joe Biden right now, there is no reason why your social media page is not reaching the younger audience. What's going on with your marketing team? We're doing all this amazing stuff in the government. Clearly, we can't see it because we already know that even these news stations aren't even trying to post up on the actual TV shows. I'm watching CNN, the MM posting stuff on TikTok now because they know that the younger people aren't watching TV. We don't want to watch TV. We don't even have cable anymore. Let's be honest. We're watching Paramount Plus, Peacock, HBO, even Zeus. So we're not even watching these network shows anymore.
Bitch.
So y'all really for real though, y'all are mad that these younger people are on their phones, on social media. Yeah, Facebook has a problem with that because we don't like the fact that these young kids aren't using these Facebook pages. I'm sorry, but let's be honest. The Karens, the Chads, the Sabrinas of the world are not going to be really. There's only so much you can do on Facebook, and there's only so much content. Like, how much money is Facebook really making at this point from content creators? Do they even have content creators on Facebook like that?
They do, but everybody's recycling videos from each different social media platform. So they're monetizing on pretty much every platform. That's why I said
Everything.
earlier, it's like, it's more about opportunity than entertainment. And they'll say it in
Look at
their
the TikTok
caption.
shop.
No, why does
Look
this
at the
video have
TikTok
7
shop.
million views on TikTok? And then it'll turn around and have 700,000 views on Facebook, 900,000 views on Instagram. It's just like, it's a money game. And that's the thing
A
about it.
money game.
That's what makes it bad. That's what makes it worse. It's because not only do they not know how to use it, and not only can they not control people, it's making them money. So much so to the point where they feel like it's affecting how people are moving in terms of creating businesses and doing things
What?
like that. And that's by the government. You know what I mean? Like, people are getting businesses and they are like, nowadays it's so easy to create a small business, whether it's successful or not. And speaking of passing bills, they did just pass a bill where they to put a ban on non-compete clauses and a ban on creating a competing business when you leave a business. So it's to the point where, like, people have gotten to the point where, like, they're like, okay, if the government wants to do this, let me show you how I can do me and make money. And when their back is affected, everybody knows in politics, it's all about money.
Oh, one more
It's
thing about
all
that
about
too.
money.
That's another reason why they don't like TikTok either. Because now look at Frosted Flakes. Look at all these brands now.
Hmm.
Guess what? If we want to start. Yeah, actually, I have yet to. Although the brand of Kellogg's have not bought nothing from Kellogg's in a long time actually. And with TikTok, you know what? Let's just start spreading the information. Let's just say, hey, here's the information. This is why we should ban. This is why we should boycott them, and this is why we're not messing with them no more. Now we're messing with their bags, and now they're gonna have to start paying these politicians. Now they're like, oh, TikTok is problematic for our businesses. The money isn't going to us anymore. But better yet, why don't y'all make a better product? Like, didn't just Lunchables come out like 2 weeks
Period.
ago saying that they have aluminum in their deli meat and their crackers? Basically, you telling me that we need to watch ourselves and we need to protect ourselves from social media, but yeah, we can't protect the damn kids from Lunchables at this point. Look at like all the food that we're feeding people, with all the water crisis that we're having in the United States. The number one thing we want to ban right now is social media, more specifically TikTok. But yet these kids in these damn schools don't even know their shapes like that. We can't even know if these kids are even drinking the good
They
quality
don't write
water
in
at this point.
cursive. They don't know their times tables. Education right now, like I'm hearing what people are talking about, and it's sad. Like the
And
curriculum.
I will say that, I feel sorry for those people out here who are pushing for this TikTok ban, that they lost a child or somebody to some sort of whatever. But along those same lines, I think a lot of the time people are trying to blame these apps and stuff for things happening. And ultimately, my first question is like, what time are you spending with your kids? Like, are you checking on these apps and what your kids are on? Because I know for me, if I had a kid, I know that everything that's on your phone, I'm a look. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna have your phone linked to my laptop. I'm gonna see everything that you put on your phone. I'm gonna have it.
Through the
So you can get all of this information. This is not something. This is not data that just disappears. So you can see what apps they download, if they sign in and out of an account. You can see if you make a TikTok with them and then they make a different one. You can notice that on their phone. So what is going on with some of these people that your kids are going long enough without being checked that they're able to get to some of this stuff? Because to be fair, I didn't know that there was a suicide side of TikTok until I watched a court case about it.
really, this is the first time I'm hearing about
So
it.
I never seen anything about suicide on TikTok ever.
Let's
So
see.
I don't know where they got these particular videos from, but I've never seen them and I've been on TikTok.
That's the thing. It's so hard because, especially like with these entertainers and stuff, like we were just talking about a lot of these people in the industry and how, like, um, what it's like as far as them being in the industry. But I don't know if we spoke so much as heavily to other things as we did the impact that they have. And I feel like a lot of people are upset because it's like your kids are watching this, you're allowing kids to consume this type of content. A lot of these creators will tell you, like artists, entertainers, whatever it is, this is not content for children. Through the phone company, it doesn't even take app. Through the phone company, you can place parental restrictions on your children's phones. So why are you holding it up to? Why are you leaving it in other people's hands to be accountable for what your kid consumes on the internet, on TV, streaming, whatever it may be? And why, as a parent, are you not taking responsibility for what your kids are consuming? That being said, I have empathy. I can empathize with people who are losing their kids because of the impact that social media has. I know that kids are a lot more what is it? Y'all know the word. But kids tend to kind of, follow the trends and follow behind other people. So I get it to some degree, but like you said, along those same lines, it's a matter of like, what are we doing in our homes to prevent our children, and also what are we doing to educate our children about what's going on to the point where they don't take everything that happens on the internet so much to heart that they think this is real life. You know what I mean? Kids get bullied in real life, you know what I mean? But certain things on the internet are so dragged out and so overperformed and so like trendy that it tends to bleed into the realm of reality, and that's not the truth. Like, so it becomes a thing where, like, as a parent, you have a responsibility and an obligation to educate your children on what's going on in the world to, a degree where they can understand it, where they don't have to be exposed to something they kids shouldn't be exposed to, but also to where you restrict them from things that they should have no access to. But
Right.
I feel really bad for these younger kids. I
Fly.
feel so bad for Generation Alpha. Because Generation Alpha, they can't go outside no more. We got the shootings everywhere they go on. We have the gun violence in America, the
girl,
food, the TikTok ban. I'm like, yo, young kids nowadays got nothing. They can't even do anything anymore at this point. We don't have no entertainers that are even really making like kid friendly stuff. Like I feel so bad for the younger generation. We're not even educating these kids. We're trying to ban books. Like I knew that I'm not surprised by the TikTok situation because I already knew it was getting to that route when we started trying to ban these books. I just knew like we're trying to ban these books. We don't care about these little kids protesting about the gun violence. We really don't care about the social media. I mean, it's just America really has a problem right now, and I don't know what we're doing, but we need to fix it. And on that note, like I don't even know what else to say, but like Beyonce said, America got a damn problem. We need to figure this out.
And on that note, as we know, America got a problem. Also, to the people listening, if you think that there's nowhere else to go, that's a lie. Jump on TikTok, go look at the millions of expats leaving America because they are finding other countries to go live in. There's a lot of resources and things like that. And I think a lot of what I've learned more later in life is a lot of what you see is propaganda. And I think that we learn about propaganda. Well, probably not anymore. They probably don't teach that in school anymore. But when they used to teach us about propaganda back in the day, they
Yeah, they
talk
can't do
about
that in
all of
school
the
no more.
Russian propaganda and how bad Russia was on the propaganda, but they never really talked about how bad America was in propaganda. And America had a ton of propaganda when it came to slavery. They had a ton of propaganda when it came to immigrants. And they have a ton of propaganda today when it comes to Mexican immigrants, because I promise you, there are not millions of Mexicans herding over the fucking border. That's not a real thing. There are people coming in illegally, yes, but not like what you see on the internet. And I think that that's something that we really have to start opening our eyes to. And if you go look at Mexican news, people are moving back to Mexico. People are leaving America, going back to Mexico. People are leaving the country because there is a problem. And I think as a community, we need to continue to come together and talk about all different topics going on, but really helping our people really become aware. Your vote matters. I cannot harp on that enough. So many of y'all don't vote. That's a problem. And those of you who do vote, get educated. There are more than two options of votes. You do not only have two people to vote for. I don't care who you vote for, but vote for who you truly want to win. I think that that's something else. I feel like there's so much bullying in who you should be voting for, especially from these Gen Xers that are trying to tell a lot of people like, oh, you should vote this way because this is what makes sense and this is how it's going to win. And that's not the truth. We need to vote for who we truly think are going to impact our lives in a positive way. And as a community, if we all come together and do that, we will make change. But if we continue to allow the government to separate us, because even some of y'all girls in the queer community are acting wild when y'all should really be coming together and working together. And as a collective, we can make change.
And can I add one thing to that? Even with the voting situation, there's a way. I know a lot of people say my vote doesn't matter, but there's a lot of ways to fight people back. You can fight with your dollars. That's a really big way to fight people back. I'm just not going to be spending money at these establishments because you know why? I don't like this company. And with the economy right now, yeah, I'm going to spend my money more wisely, and I'm not going to spend money for people who don't even care about me. So yeah, my dollars are going to be for people who I like.
Yep.
My votes are definitely going to be for the people who I want to be in office. And I think we just need to just stop letting people bully us, and I think we just need to start doing things for ourselves and really just start taking a moment to sit in. And obviously, we're not telling you who to vote for clearly, but do your due diligence, watch the news, talk to your friends and family, look at these brands, figure out who you giving your money to. I don't necessarily know if I want to support this brand, so we ain't gonna give these dollar bills to these people. Like, I think there's just so many small little things that you can do that really goes a long way. And yeah, I feel like y'all, the ones that get it, and y'all really just need to do better if you ain't on it. So,
See
yeah,
the
that's what I gotta
bigger
say.
picture. Like Manny said, there's a lot of things about the government where it's like, that's not the case. That's not really true. It's fake problems to create real distractions. And the minute you can discern what is reality from a distraction, the better you will be, the better off you will be. Like, you have to pay attention. Have to pay attention.
Beyonce said it best. Pay attention to the media, because who controls the media controls the mind. And on that note, I want to thank you guys for joining us here at Girlbye, the podcast that will continue to bring you the most realist conversations on the internet. Any last things from Amil, Cristian? Anything you guys want to add before we wrap?
I just know that April was just a lot going on. So that's April. I don't know what May's gonna be looking like.
Yeah.
So
April was a month, and
yeah,
this was a key. And I would just like to point out, since we're always here for a key, that my phone made it the whole episode. So, bitch, on that note, girl,
Thanks again for joining us at Girlbye, and we'll catch you on the next one.